Hi, hello, and welcome to a new episode of Release. I'm your host, Adriana, and I am so honored and grateful that you've taken the time to listen to what I have to say. Today, I wanted to talk about my spiritual journey. And before I start, I wanted to say that when I speak about my spiritual journey, I'm not necessarily talking about a connection to God or a path towards Source, Allah, whatever you call your Godhead figure. I am not necessarily talking about that. For me, my spiritual journey is about a conscious connection to myself. You can call it self-growth journey, your healing journey, whatever fits for you and whatever resonates with you. Because for me, growing up in the church, my spiritual journey has that divine, that source connection, because that is what I grew up with and that is what I resonate with and understand, but in a different way. I'm changing the way that I go about my human experience. And overall, a spiritual journey, healing journey, a growth journey is kind of the same thing in my eyes, because you're healing, and healing brings growth. And spirituality in itself is a part of the human experience already. We are spiritual beings just as much as we are earthly beings. So I just wanted to say that as a little bit of a disclaimer before we start, because I know not everybody that listens to this podcast is really into spiritual things like that. So I just wanted to say that before I really dive into what I have to say. So before another disclaimer, me telling you about my journey does not mean that this is the only way that you can go about your spiritual journey. There are many ways, there are many things that are going to resonate with you and things that are not going to click at all, and that's okay. It's about you developing your journey and what suits you. Of course, when it comes to spirituality, there are a lot of closed practices. That is important. Don't go willy-nilly joining everything. Please, 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 please do your research before you join certain groups, like things like hoodoo, voodoo. Those are closed practices that we shouldn't really be playing with like that. There are many, many, many open practices that don't have anything to do with your race or your culture. It's just open to whoever wants to try, as long as you respect that practice. So a spiritual journey in itself, I feel like people paint a picture of what it should be. Like I said, whatever resonates with you, everybody is going to look different. I did not start out being like, oh yeah, now I'm going to start my spiritual journey. Like, this is the moment that I become a quote unquote spiritual being. That was never the case. There is never a right place to start. There is no right environment. There is no right situation. For me, my journey found me. It began before I was consciously even registering that it was happening. When it started, or when I really realized that, okay, maybe this is something, I guess. There's something else that may not be in my conscious, my physical reality, that may be something for me. Is before COVID, I have talked about my experience in the church, vaguely talked about it. I in the beginning of the show, first few episodes, I talked a lot about my experience in the church. But before, when all of that was happening, I had a lot of questions about my existence and about the things that I was being taught in Christianity, and the doubts that I already had about Christianity and the way that the people themselves, the Christians, were operating. So little red flags going off in my brain. There was something that I could never. There are other people that were, getting into the spirit, and people that were like, yeah, this changed my life. And like, I went on this fast and like everything opened up. And since birth, like from birth until maybe 18, 19, I was fully like in the church constantly, multiple times a week. Like it was my life. Like I breathed and I lived the church, but I was never having those groundbreaking, crazy experiences like other people are saying. But when COVID hit, I have talked about this, but I was forced to sit with myself. I wasn't being told, oh, you have to present like this, or we have to go to church today, we have to listen to this today, we have to be this, we have to do this. It was just silence, and I was forced to be in my room for months, just staring at the wall. And because there were no distractions, and I was going through a lot mentally, I was forced to sit down in my shit and look around me and look within me and really experience the pain that I was going through, because there was a lot more than what had just happened to me before that was affecting me. It was a lot of things that were going unsolved. There are parts of me that were going unloved because I literally did not have the time to pay attention to myself. And this forced me to come face to face with myself. And it was really hard. That experience, and I've talked about the dark night of the soul. That was probably my first dark night of the soul. And it really felt like I was honestly dying. Like life felt heavier and heavier every day, and I honestly felt like I was going to buckle under the weight. And a little bit of a trigger warning, but I did try to commit. We've talked about just saying, instead of saying committing suicide, I just like to say commit, because it may be triggering to hear the word said over and over. So I just say commit so we get the gist of it. Within that year of COVID, not even year, let's say 9 months, from March to December, I tried to commit twice. And I really was in my shit now, because the months between the first and second attempts, they were very dark, and I felt even lower. But after getting across that second attempt, I really started questioning my existence and wondering, okay, so the universe must want me here for a reason. There has to be something that I'm meant to do, that I can't fuck up. Like, the universe cannot leave my life in my hands, so they gotta make sure that they keep me safe every time. There's this Jhené Aiko lyric from her song Jukai, Jukai, I think that's how it's pronounced, Jukai, or Jukai. It doesn't matter. The point is, in the song, she says, you don't get to die until you get it right. I envy the dead. And that lyric really, really spoke to me and still speaks to me, because I'm like, okay, there's something that needs to be done. There's something within this chapter or this book of my life that has not been completed, that must be completed. Like, the universe has brought me here for that. So I started really going throughout this time. I was going to therapy, and after my attempts, I was really trying to use therapy and really, really, really open up about the way that I was feeling, as a way to kind of cleanse. Because before, a lot of people will tell you that when they feel really, they're feeling their lowest, it may be hard for you to go in front of a professional and say, this is exactly how I'm feeling. A lot of people fear getting admitted to the hospital. People fear, whatever the case may be, they fear something worse happening if they speak up. So after my attempts in building some trust with my therapist, I really started telling her how I was feeling, because it was weighing really heavy on me, and I wasn't really talking to the people around me, and I felt like they weren't really listening, or they were listening but they weren't really understanding, and it felt like talking to a wall. So then I kind of just shut down, and that's a bad habit that I'm working on. But I just shut down because I felt like, okay, I'm just in this by myself anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, I can just suck it up, sort of thing. And writing is my first love. I've been writing poetry since I was very young. I started writing. I started journaling. I started doing shadow work. I started writing letters to the people that have hurt me. One of the earlier episodes of the podcast, I talk about shadow work. I started just channeling out those feelings that I was feeling, because I wasn't talking about them, and writing about it makes you feel so much lighter. And through this journaling and shadow work, I had to learn that I am unlearning. I had to begin to show myself that I deserved better, because I was honestly punishing myself in a lot of ways and pushing myself deeper and kind of just fucking myself over constantly. I started doing affirmations, so saying out loud to myself, I am worthy. Whatever affirmations that you find work for you, but saying I am, doing it in front of a mirror really helps, because you're looking yourself directly in the face and you're saying, I am worthy. I am deserving of love. I am needed. Whatever it is that you need to say, and you say it to yourself over and over and over and over and over again until you believe it. Write it down. Say it. If you say it over and over again, it becomes a mantra. Create a mantra for your day, for your week, for your month, whatever it is. And you use that as a theme for that amount of time in order to really practice what you say. And once you say it over and over again, you begin to believe it. And once you begin to believe it, your attitude will begin to change. The way that once you say, okay, I'm deserving of love, I am deserving of respect, I am deserving of whatever it is. Let's say that it's I'm deserving of respect. You say that over and over and over and over again. Disrespect starts to become really clear. When someone isn't aligning with that feeling of respect, you're going to say, hey, hold on. I am deserving of respect, and you are not respecting me right now. So maybe you are not deserving of my space. Maybe that'll take a little while, but once you really pay attention to the thoughts that It's important to observe your thoughts and not buy into them. So your negative thoughts, we're going to have them. The brain is just constantly going on all the time. When you have your negative thoughts, you do not have to buy into them. You replace that with positive thoughts. You're feeling, I'm worthless. Saying, no, I am worthy. 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 Over and over and over and over again until you squash that little thought. But with this, I had to open up my mind. That was probably one of the first things that I had to do while doing my journaling and my shadow work, is that I was moving away from Christianity. I was creating my own belief system, let's say, my own practices, that I had to abandon the idea of a specific version of God. I had to kind of abandon the way that Christianity shaped the way that I viewed right and wrong, or the afterlife, heaven and hell, whatever you want to call it. I had to take some time to really say God is an energy. And a lot of spiritual people say that, but God is an energy. It flows through all of us. Everywhere you go, I see God in everything. I see God within the trees. I see God within the moment I wake up and take a breath. I see God within the seasons. I see God within every single thing that exists. And by seeing that, you begin to kind of release. I know a lot of people that grow up religious and strictly religious Abrahamic religion, so Christianity, Islam, Judaism, you may develop this idea that God is this being that is just may love you, but is like there's fear. There's a lot of fear-based rhetoric that goes along with religion. And I had to really rework the way that I even spoke about God. Because I have that religious Christian-based view of God, I will say God now that I have reworked and I'm reworking the way that I think about God, let's say. But now I use words like source, the divine. That way it's like source is the beginning of all life. It's where all life comes from, or the divine energy that is keeping us all here and keeping us all safe and guiding us. When I say things like that, it resonates more with my spirit. So you can even pick the words that you use to describe your Godhead, your higher power, your practice. Some people don't even recognize a source or a divine because they never grew up with that kind of rhetoric or that kind of understanding in their vocabulary. Some people may say, I'm talking to my higher self. They may use other words to say it. Like I said at the beginning, whatever resonates with you, whatever speaks to you is what you need to use, because other people's ways and other people's journeys are not going to always fit and suit you and your needs. And honestly, with this unlearning of God, this unlearning of source, this unlearning of relearning, teaching myself what source is to me, what the divine is to me. How do I speak to the divine? How do I pray? Even prayer. A lot of people think prayer should look a certain way, but I had to really think about what prayer is. And you can even say prayer is a meditation. And then changing the way that you see that helps you to change the way that you may already perceive it, but it gives you a way to reshape your brain to receive, because for me, I do have church-based trauma. So I may shut down when certain things about church are like prayer. Like I may see prayer as one thing, but if I call it meditation, or even if I still call it prayer, but it looks a certain way, over time I'll become more comfortable with saying, okay, I'm praying. Like for me, a prayer may be, I wake up in the morning and I say, thank you for just being awake. Like I said, meditation. I may sit down for 5-10 minutes, allow the universe to speak to me, allow the silence to speak to me. That is a prayer. Whatever it is, whatever you can look up. Of course, you can look up many different methods of praying. I'm sure there are a lot of resources on the internet that you can look up, but that is kind of a little bit of a sidetrack. I really had to learn from scratch what my faith, my beliefs meant to me. And the first thing that I did, or one of the first things I did, was research. Like I said at the beginning, research. Started listening to podcasts, started watching YouTube videos, lots and lots and lots of Googling. Because if you're on social media, you may come across something like, oh, I meditate, and this is a meditation to open up your heart chakra. You may not know what that's about. Do your Googling, watch a YouTube video, watch the video. Do not take random things that pop up on your social media as truth. Take your time to research it and see if it resonates with you. If it resonates with you, try it. You can even try it, of course, like I said, check if it's a close practice. And then you can try it, and then if it doesn't work for you, but it keeps calling your name, you can try it again, reshape it the way that it suits you. Then if it doesn't resonate with you, leave it alone, and you can find something else that works for you. And this second point kind of goes the same with research, but asking for help. Speaking to the universe. A prayer can also be something written down. I write down a lot of my prayers. I have notes in my phone where I just write down my prayers and I'm on the go. Ask the universe for guidance and direction. Ask the people around you that may know, and maybe if there's no one in your immediate environment, social media may be a really good tool to ask for help, ask for guidance, ask for resources, ask. Because if you just sit down and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to give up on this journey, and it's something that's speaking to you, just somebody else giving you a new perspective can really change the way that you go about your journey. And once you begin to change the way that you think, your physical, the energy within your body is going to start to change. So like I said, the affirmations change the way that you think. You may realize that you stop dressing a certain way, or you stop listening to certain music, or you stop talking to certain people. If it feels like there's no longer a connection, let it go. Let it go. For me, I realized that there was some hiding going on with the way that I was presenting myself, and realizing that those things were kind of a little bit heavy now. So I had to really tap into, I felt like I had to have, because I'm very, very into fashion, so I had to have this hidden outfit every day, makeup done, hair done, everything done. And I'm not saying that I'm not into my hitting, I don't know why I call it hidden outfits, but a fit, whatever you want to call it. I had to really realize that I can wear leggings and a sweater and still feel that confidence that I felt when I was wearing X amount of clothes and presenting myself in this way. And for me, I started my lock journey. I realized that there was a lot that has to do with hiding behind hair as a Black woman. So to learn how to, and I am learning more every day, how to love myself and take care of myself, take care of my hair, take care of my space, take care of all parts of me. And I'm not saying that you, like, if you're a Black woman listening to this, you should stop wearing wigs or braids or whatever you do. I'm just saying that for me, it is a part of my journey that I had to look at myself without those things and love myself and love my face, because I was hiding. There was a lot of hiding and shame and punishing that was happening within those moments of darkness, and having my real hair and saying, this is what the universe has given me. And I get to watch my hair grow as I grow and look back at pictures and say, 5 months ago, my hair looked like this and I was going through this. And now 5 months later, my hair looks like this and I'm going through this and I'm growing through this. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful process. And then after changing the energy, of course, this isn't you have to start on this step and move to this step. You can find whatever, whenever you find it, and work through it. Because, like I said, my journey found me. It will find you when the time is right. Just ask the universe. Sometimes when I'm praying, I ask the universe, please bring me clarity. Please send me clear signs of what you need me to do right now. Please speak to me. Things like that. So you may not know what you are asking for, but you are desiring for something to change. You're asking for help. And then within changing my energy of myself, I also changed the energy of my space. I started burning incense. I started doing cleansing. I started practicing full moon and new moon rituals. At the beginning, I kept up with the moons. So like a full moon is about releasing. So you can tell the universe, I do a lot of writing. Writing pen to paper really does help with processing your emotions. So for like the full moon, I would say, okay, thank you for bringing me through another cycle. I release all people, places, things, situations, dimensions that no longer serve me. And you just write down all the things that you're releasing. And then for new moons, you welcome in new energy. So I welcome in the energy of self-love. I welcome in the energy of mindfulness, whatever you are doing. And with that, I helped myself with manifesting and praying and sort of pushing myself to pay attention to the moon, because the moon is very, very important for intuition. And women, we're very, very intuitive. Not saying that men or more male presenting people cannot, or masculine presenting people with more dominant masculine energy, that they cannot be intuitive. I'm just saying that on the more feminine presenting side with feminine energy, those who present that way normally are more in tune with their intuition, and those who are more on the masculine side may have to work their way up to balancing those energies in order to tap into their intuition in that way. And in order to do that, I practiced gratitude. I say thank you to the universe. I say thank you in all of my prayers, all of my manifestations. I practice even saying thank you to everybody around me all the time, regardless of if the thank you is really, really needed. Like, I really try to take the time to practice speaking that, because, not when we forget that the universe is giving us gifts constantly. A breath. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this meal. Thank you for this situation. It may be a situation that fucking sucks. And I still try to say, thank you for teaching me this lesson in this moment. Just practicing, because nothing is guaranteed and nothing is to be taken for granted. So just reminding yourself of that. And meditation. I've spoken about meditation before. Yoga, actually practicing, and not just saying, oh, there's this white lady that, no offense to white people that practice yoga, but and she practices it for this, and she just does poses and blah blah blah. Like, no, like actually looking into the art of yoga. There are 8 limbs of yoga, practicing, going through, and really, because it is, the word yoga means union. It's about the connection of mind and body, the marriage of mind and body, and really tapping into that and being able to find your center and find your peace. And the same with meditation. It's about finding. It's not about, oh, my thoughts can't stop. It's about observing those thoughts and saying, okay, thoughts, you're going to be there in 10 minutes when I get up. So now I'm going to focus on my breath and tune you out. Also, communing with nature definitely helps. I love being outside. I love nature now because it is snowing and it is cold. I do not go outside as much as I would like, but in the summer, if you've listened to my episodes from last summer and last spring, most of them are recorded outside, because I love taking walks. I love looking at the trees. I love looking at the sky. I love feeling like I am a part of nature, and also thanking nature for being here. This may sound very tree hugger of me, but even like, let's say I'm recording and I'm under a tree, I will thank that tree and say, thank you for the shade you are providing for me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the oxygen that you provide. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I guess the last thing that I do and am doing on this journey is finding spaces that work for me. Find spaces that work for you. If you are interested in yoga and you want to start practicing, start to follow yogis on social media. And whatever you're interested in and it's on the journey and you want to see more of it, start to seek those people out. Because just scrolling along on your timeline, one thing may click and you may say, I'm going to do yoga. You push it off for 1 month, and then you see a video of a yogi that you like, and they're doing a 5-minute, 10-minute yoga session, and then you're like, oh yes, let's do it. Let's do this 5-10 minutes, whatever. It's going to change the way that your experience of social media is. And in the same breath, you got to start deleting the people and the things that no longer serve us. So that means deleting the people on socials that are always negative, or people that you no longer resonate with. Even cleaning out your space, throwing away things you no longer use. So let's say that I've been very guilty of this too, saying, oh, I'm going to use this. I'm going to find a way to use this. And then you never do. So now I find myself just throwing things away because I know I'm not going to use them. And that way you're clearing up your energy. There's a relationship, platonic, romantic, that no longer serves you. And it is only causing you stress. Then maybe it's time to let go or create some distance between you and that relationship and see how you feel once that distance and that space has been created. And I guess the last thing would be that I am creating morning and night routines. That way you can begin your morning and end your day in a specific way, in a way that you desire. Like, in my ideal world, my morning routine and night routines may be similar, but in the morning, I drink some water, I make my bed, do some yoga, do some meditation, do some journaling, and then I make my breakfast, start my day. Then my night routine would be my yoga, meditation, or prayer, go to bed. Simple things. It can look different ways for different people depending on what as I said, it's my ideal world. Maybe I don't have time for it in the reality that I'm currently living in. But do not get down on yourself if you miss your routine or you don't meditate for X amount of time. Because when the time is right and the time comes back, you will definitely be running back into those practices. And if you never do, maybe they just weren't suited for you or suited for you on this part of your journey. And yeah, that's all I have to say today. I love you guys so much. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your week. Rest of the time until I see or I speak to you guys again. I love you so much. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.